The Thompson family had lived at 428 Oakwood Drive for 12 peaceful years, maintaining their property with pride and enjoying friendly relationships with most neighbors. That tranquility shattered on a humid Saturday morning in June when construction noise erupted from the adjacent property. The neighboring house had recently been purchased by Richard Brennan, a real estate investor known throughout the community for his aggressive business tactics and dismissive attitude toward local regulations. From their kitchen window, the Thompsons watched in growing alarm as a professional fence installation crew began digging post holes along what should have been the property line. Something immediately felt wrong about the positioning. The fence was clearly being installed several feet into what the Thompsons knew to be their own yard, cutting through the carefully maintained flower beds that Linda Thompson had cultivated for over a decade. The new cedar fence posts were going up precisely where Linda's prize-winning roses had bloomed just days before. Michael Thompson rushed outside to speak with the construction foreman, who simply shrugged and pointed toward Richard Brennan standing smugly on his back deck, arms crossed, watching the installation with obvious satisfaction. When Michael approached Richard to question the fence placement, the neighbor barely glanced in his direction before waving him off dismissively. Richard claimed he had every right to fence his property as he saw fit, and the Thompsons should mind their own business. By late afternoon, a 6-foot-tall cedar privacy fence stretched the entire length of the property line, except it wasn't on the property line at all. The fence enclosed a strip of land approximately 3 feet wide and 80 feet long, totaling nearly 250 square feet of the Thompson family's legally owned property. Linda's decade of gardening work had been destroyed, replaced by pressure-treated posts sunk deep into ground that belonged to the Thompsons, not Richard Brennan. Michael spent Sunday morning researching property records at the county assessor's office, pulling up the original survey from when they purchased their home. The documentation was crystal clear. The fence Richard Brennan had installed was unquestionably on Thompson property, representing a blatant land grab. Armed with this evidence, Michael approached Richard again Monday morning, bringing copies of the official property survey and plat maps that definitively showed the boundary lines. Richard's response was infuriating. He stood in his driveway, glanced at the documents for perhaps 5 seconds, then literally laughed in Michael's face. According to Richard's arrogant proclamation, possession was 9/10 of the law, and since his fence was now installed and he had no intention of removing it, the Thompsons could simply accept the new reality.
We should put the next one right here.
He suggested that if they had a problem, they should take him to court, though he doubted they had the resources or courage to follow through. The situation escalated when the Thompsons discovered Richard had begun using the stolen strip of their land as an extension of his own backyard. He installed landscape lighting along the fence, placed decorative stones on Thompson's soil, and even set up a storage shed partially on their property. Each action was a calculated provocation designed to establish adverse possession and demonstrate his contempt for property rights and neighborly respect. Linda documented everything with photographs and detailed notes, creating a comprehensive record of each encroachment. She photographed the destroyed rose garden, the fence posts clearly on their side of the property markers, and Richard's additional improvements made on their land. Meanwhile, Michael researched property law and contacted several attorneys specializing in boundary disputes and real estate litigation. The legal consultations revealed encouraging information. Not only was Richard's fence illegal, but his refusal to remove it after being informed of the encroachment could result in treble damages, mandatory removal at his expense, and potential court-ordered payment of the Thompsons' attorney fees and court costs. The lawyers explained that property rights in their state were taken extremely seriously, and judges had little patience for neighbors who knowingly violated clearly established boundaries. The Thompsons hired attorney Patricia Morrison, a fierce litigator with 23 years of experience in property disputes and an impressive track record of victories against entitled defendants. Patricia immediately ordered a professional boundary survey from a licensed surveyor, ensuring the evidence would be admissible in court and indisputable. The surveyor, James Chen, arrived with sophisticated GPS equipment and historical property records dating back 40 years. James's comprehensive survey took 3 full days and cost the Thompsons $4,200, but the results were devastating for Richard Brennan's position. The official survey confirmed that Richard's fence encroached exactly 3 feet and 2 inches onto Thompson property along its entire 80-foot length. James's report included precise measurements, GPS coordinates, photographs from multiple angles, and a detailed analysis comparing current conditions to the original property plat filed with the county in 1987. Armed with this ironclad evidence, Patricia sent Richard a formal demand letter via certified mail, requiring him to remove the fence within 30 days and restore the property to its original condition, including replacement of Linda's destroyed rose garden. The letter outlined potential legal consequences, including injunctive relief, monetary damages, and attorney fee recovery. Patricia included copies of the professional survey, county records, and relevant state statutes regarding property encroachment and trespass. Richard's response arrived 2 weeks later through his own attorney, a response so dismissive it bordered on professional malpractice. Richard's lawyer claimed the fence was installed in good faith based on Richard's understanding of the property line, despite the certified survey proving otherwise. They offered to pay $500 as a gesture of goodwill, but refused to remove the fence, suggesting the Thompsons should simply accept the new boundary and move on with their lives. This insulting offer only strengthened the Thompsons' resolve. Patricia filed a comprehensive lawsuit in county court seeking injunctive relief for immediate fence removal, compensatory damages for property damage and lost land value, punitive damages for willful trespass, restoration costs for the garden, surveyor fees, attorney fees, and pre-judgment interest on all amounts. The complaint was meticulously documented with exhibits including the survey, photographs, correspondence, and expert opinions regarding property devaluation. The court proceedings moved surprisingly quickly due to the overwhelming evidence in the Thompsons' favor. During discovery, Richard's deposition proved disastrous for his case. Under oath, he admitted he had been shown the survey proving the fence was on Thompson property, but chose to ignore it because he believed the Thompsons lacked the financial resources to challenge him. This admission of willful trespass, captured in the official court transcript, eliminated any defense of good faith mistake. Judge Margaret Rivera presided over the bench trial with visible impatience for Richard's arguments. After reviewing the professional survey, county records, photographs, and Richard's damning deposition testimony, she ruled comprehensively in favor of the Thompsons. Her written order was a legal masterpiece that addressed every aspect of the dispute. Richard was given 14 days to completely remove the fence, all posts, and every improvement made on Thompson property, or face daily fines of $500 for continued contempt of court. The financial judgment was even more severe. Judge Rivera awarded the Thompsons $12,000 for property damage and diminished land value, $4,200 for surveyor fees, $18,000 in attorney fees, $6,000 for garden restoration costs, and an additional $8,000 in punitive damages due to Richard's willful and malicious conduct. The total judgment exceeded $48,000, plus 9% annual interest from the date of filing until paid in full. Richard's attempt to appeal was rejected within 30 days, and the judgment became final and enforceable. When he failed to remove the fence within the court-ordered timeframe, the daily fines began accumulating automatically. After accruing $7,000 in additional contempt fines over 14 days, Richard finally hired a removal crew. The Thompsons watched with satisfaction as Richard's expensive cedar fence was dismantled piece by piece, the posts extracted from their property, and the land returned to their control. The restoration phase brought additional costs for Richard. The court order required him to hire a licensed landscape architect to restore Linda's rose garden to its previous condition, which meant purchasing mature rose plants, amending the soil, and guaranteeing the plants for 1 full year. This restoration alone cost Richard an additional $9,000. The Thompsons also placed a lien on Richard's property to secure the judgment, which complicated his plans to refinance or sell. In total, Richard Brennan's arrogant land grab cost him over $64,000 in judgments, fines, removal costs, and restoration expenses for stealing a strip of land worth approximately $3,000. The Thompsons received every penny owed through enforced wage garnishment when Richard attempted to avoid payment. News of the case spread throughout the community, effectively destroying Richard's reputation as a savvy real estate investor and serving as a powerful warning to anyone who might consider similar property violations. The Thompsons planted new roses in their reclaimed land, each bloom a testament to the power of standing firm on principle, documenting everything, and pursuing justice through proper legal channels. Their story became legendary in the neighborhood as the perfect example of how expensive arrogance becomes when confronted with the law.